Hey guys, it's Greg. In this video we want to share with you our thoughts about Uprising, the Curse of the Last Emperor. We played this game for the first time years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was a prototype then and we had to wait quite a long time to finally get the Kickstarter version on our table. So we have it for, I think, for a month or something, and we played it already a lot of times, and I must say, I love this game when it was a prototype, and now it's even better, I think. But more you can hear and see in our review, so if you're interested in this game, just check out this video.
We are into forex games a lot, but the usual problem for us is the need to gather more people at the table, because most of the forex games don't work properly or don't work at all for two players. And you can't gather just some casual gamers to fully enjoy the session. Our favorite ones like Star Trek Asymmetry and Twilight Imperium require a ton of preparation, experience, and even a dozen hours to play. So in the end, we play these games very occasionally. From the moment we got the Uprising KS fulfillment, we played 12 times already, easily being able to finish our session in 3 hours, yet still having this grand forex experience. If a co-op game is not story-driven, then it needs to be challenging, and players need to really struggle to win the session. Many games stick to this rule, but plenty of them provide challenges due to the crazy randomness, which could be easily unfair, especially if the players don't get ways to mitigate the luck. In some co-op games, an unlucky starting deck or setup can make the session impossible to win and frustrating in the end. And Uprising is totally opposite to this approach. Yes, we have randomness, but to provide excitement and replayability. Yet still we have plenty of ways to prepare yourself for the worst outcomes and several options for mitigating your luck from dice rolls. In the end, getting a feeling that the game is fair and the only person to blame for the failure is your strategy, and taking risks when the chance of success was clearly too small. Each faction offers a different playstyle. At the beginning of the session, you need to decide which of the two leaders will guide the faction you have chosen, and this also affects the style of your play. The core of the mechanics is unchanged despite of your choices, so asymmetry doesn't complicate the gameplay. Both me and Greg tried each faction from the core game and expansion, and none of them seems to be too strong or too weak compared to others. It's even more important because during the game you will gather artifacts, giving you more opportunities to create your unique faction and more ways to survive the opposing forces. The best element of the game are two opposing factions you need to fight with. AI behind them is at the same time very easy to manage, yet very challenging, forcing you to change your strategy, adjust, and do all you can to win. Imperium sends bosses from the capital city in the center of the board, trying to reach your heavens and destroy them while building more and more outposts on the board. Chaos spams skeletons and cursed standees at the edge of the map, rising in numbers over time, and sending bosses trying to conquer the capital city. Yes, AI factions can fight with each other as well, but this way they get even more victory points. So if you want to win, you need to try to defeat bosses of both factions on time and manage the situation on the board, trying to control a number of Imperium outposts and Chaos skeletons. And you can win only if after the whole session each player has more victory points than each of the AI factions. When the game is definitely focused on combat, to have a chance against AI you need to take care of the rest of the elements too. You can and should explore the map tiles, build more of your heavens, gather resources, strengthen your defenses, collect artifacts, grow your leaders, and use any other aspects in the game in your favor, like druid cards providing players with extra skills. Together with the events affecting the board each round and quests you can fulfill, the game offers massive replayability and a decent number of decisions to make, without overwhelming the player. The only element that was missing was some big bang at the end of the session, and then Chaos Fulfillment came with the expansion, including also arch nemesis, extra bosses you need to defeat at the end of the game. Not only they're super hard to beat, but also each of them has its own rules and behaviors, often changing situation on the board drastically, yet cleverly connecting with the core mechanics of the game, like Kraken using curse standees as his tentacles. This change of phase at the end of the game was a great choice and completes the already great experience with Uprising. I need to also praise how, despite the fact that Uprising is rather a massive game, the creators designed all of the components in a way that after setup, everything is easily manageable and within your reach. The whole flow of the game is printed on the left of the board, so quite complex upkeep and staging is effortless. All of the components, together with the units and buildings, fit the player board and the main board, together with the decent time needed to set up the game, makes Uprising much easier to get to the table than any other forex game. I remember I had this discussion with Greg at the stage of prototype. When Greg didn't mind that, then I wasn't captivated by the lore of the game, the story behind the factions and ideas for most of the units. Neither of the factions is thematically strong enough for me to remember them after the session. Maybe I have this feeling because of the standees instead of miniatures, but the lore and art design don't speak to me as strong as I would love to, and each time we play the game I don't care that much which faction I will play, if only it will be different than the last one, so I will be challenged with another playstyle. Strong colors of standees help with tracking what is happening on the board, but the thick frames overshadows what is printed on the standees. And when one or two standees together look okay, then with most of your faction launch on the board, standees of other players and AI factions, the situation on the board can be too crowded, affecting this way the clarity of what is happening in some areas. We loved Uprising at the prototype stage, and we love it even more after the release. As fans of challenging co-op games working smoothly for two players, Uprising matches almost all of the criteria we have for a game. We want to go back and play more. When the core game box offers a very complete experience, we were missing some twists and challenges at the end of the session, and Arch Nemesis expansion covered this gap perfectly. The only thing I'm picking about is the lore and design of some components, and it's the only reason the game misses the maximum score by inches. Ultimately, Uprising, Curse of the Emperor, gets from us 9 scratches on 10 possible, together with the Mark of the Beast, our highest prize reserved for only a few games each year. That's all for today, see you at the next game, and do not forget to subscribe our channel.